Hey guys, happy November. It is time for my October WIP update where I show you what I did on my projects in October. Also, happy official fall winter season. We got snow yesterday, just for like a second. It melted pretty fast, but it was still snow and it still counts. So before I show you my WIPs, I have a question. But first, a tiny bit of backstory. So this last month, I was fortunate enough to receive a very kind gift. Thank you. You know who you are. This person watched my stitching in hand video and decided to be so generous and send me my first Q-snap. So this is an 8x8 Q-snap. I haven't even opened it yet. I'm a little bit scared of it. But I really want to try this out and do a video of like my very, very first impressions of like putting it together and using it and everything. But my question is, what do you think I should use it on? This is an 8x8. I thought about maybe using it for my chatelaine, but that seems kind of intimidating, and I think my other two projects are too small. I could do it on my Mirabilia, but I'm just working on the black. That's the last bit of stitching that I have left. So what do you guys think? Do you think I should just like start like the next Mirabilia I start? I should try this. Yeah, it is intimidating me a little bit. My other question was, so because I'm spoiled as an in-hand stitcher and I never have to like snap anything over top of my stitches, especially with the chatelaine where a lot of it is like silk and it just freaks me out. So do you guys put like a layer or something in between like the snap parts, or do you just put them over your stitches? I don't know, it kind of freaks me out. I need your help. Please help me in the comments. All right, so with that out of the way, I look forward to your suggestions. I'm gonna show you my WIPs. I will start, I think, with my Mirabilia because it is the most boring. So I am working on August Peridot Fairy, and this is what I have so far. She is very close to being done as far as the stitching goes. It's been a while since I worked on this. I can't actually remember why I decided to do it this way. But, so there's a lot of black in this section, and I got really sick of all the black. So I just kind of tried to alternate between black and color in order to keep my attention on this project. This is definitely my least exciting right now and kind of my most homeworky, because it just feels like I just have skirt to go. And I think this is the actual bottom of her skirt. There might be a little bit more over here. I can't remember. But yeah, obviously I hope to finish stitching on this in November. It would be great if I could do the beading in November too. We'll have to see. Oh, I also have that wand. I didn't ever put that in. I didn't get that far. We'll have to see. I think once I start beading, I would like to just do the beading and not have to come back to it at any point. So we'll see how it goes. If it takes me a long-ish time to finish the stitching, I probably won't even start the beading, just because, like I said, I would like to do it all in one. I'd like to do it all in one go. I don't mean one day, obviously. That would be crazy. I just mean I don't want to like leave it and then have to come back to it halfway through beading, like in the next month. Okay, next thing. Oh, so I'll talk about peacock pinwheels, which I didn't work on at all, I don't think, this last month. I'm having trouble, balancing my two 1/1 projects. Right now, I'm only working on one a month because I don't want to put them back to back and do a lot of 1/1. And for some reason, I just can't seem to get the order right to work on both of them. So this is peacock pinwheels, same as last month. My other 1/1 project is Quaker Game Board, which I did work on this month, and I worked quite a bit on. So this is Quaker Game Board. It is officially half done. That top section is 3 pages, and then I just have 3 pages left on the bottom. So I talked about this a little bit in my stitching vlog for this past month, but There are little sections here that have numbers in them on that bottom row. And then in the next row of shapes, those are the ones you personalize. So I had that backwards. I thought that these ones were the ones you personalize, but they're not. So yeah, I just did the, what? It looks like I stopped in a really weird spot. Oh no, you know what it is? So I usually stitch this one color at a time, and I start with the gray, which is the color that there's the most of. So it is all the border and all of the outlines of these shapes and all of the lettering. And I just realized I stopped without filling in that part. So I'll have to remember that. Yeah, so I usually do the gray, and then I do this orange color that's also in the border, and then whatever shapes have the orange in them, I'll do those. Then I just pick a random color and fill in whatever's left. And I usually end with this 841 color that I do the letters in. So I do all the letters last. Yeah, that is Quaker Game Board. It's so cute and tiny. I love it. My last WIP that I worked on is my chatelaine. And it is getting big. Big and not necessarily more difficult, but I'm running into a problem right now where there's a lot to keep track of. Like, there's a bit of back stitching, and I can put in some of it but not all of it because it goes over some other stitches that I haven't stitched yet. So it just feels like I need to make myself a list for this project and be like, don't forget this, don't forget to go back and do this. But this is what I have so far. Last month I finished off that center bit in the white, and then this like greenery is everything I put in this month. I did this little cattail last night. There it is, good God. It's just a couple little specialty stitches, and I think it looks really cute. So I'm gonna keep working on this now. Like, I'm gonna start this month working on this just because I want to finish putting in these other two cattails, and I just want to make sure I've really like finished out this section before I move on, because I know if I go on to some other project at the start of this month, I'm gonna forget something. And this is the little bit of back stitching I was talking about, these little curly cues in this kind of dark reddish brown color. So they are kind of big curly cues that go over a lot of the stitching, and I think they're going to be really pretty, but I haven't decided yet if I'm going to stitch the black on black parts. I think I will, because I'm sure it adds depth. Like the swans, which go on the four sides, are surrounded by black cross stitches that fade into black half stitches. So I think it's going to really help bring them out, and I know the black stitching is there in case you want to do this on a lighter fabric and then you need to distinguish the swans from the fabric. So I was originally against doing all the black on black because it seems like a total headache. I probably will end up doing it. So until I do it, I can't finish this brown back stitching because it curves over some of the black stitches. So stuff like that is getting kind of tough to keep track of. Also, I think the instructions are generally very good. The stitch diagrams for sure are good, but I wish that there was some kind of image of the pattern to tell you what the instruction is for. Let me explain. That didn't make any sense. So in my chatelaine pattern, this is Sparkling Swan, by the way. It's class number 142, Sparkling Swan. So you get the PDF, which is the pattern, in color and in black and white, and then after that you get some instructions. So it starts with just general stitch instructions, like how many strands to use for a cross stitch, how to use the treasure braid, how to use the pearls, very helpful, what the half stitches look like in the pattern and what the quarter stitches look like and the 3/4 stitches. And then it just gives you kind of a list of specialty stitches and back stitching to do. So in her list, it says that it starts from the center outwards. So it starts with like the little rice stitches and eyelets that are kind of in this center bit, and then it goes out to the satin stitches that are in the outside bit, and then it goes to the diagonal bits here. But it doesn't really give you a picture of it so that you know that you're putting the right things in the right spot. I still don't know if this is making sense. It's usually very straightforward, but occasionally there will be a line of text that will be like, put in the back stitching with this color. And it's not entirely clear what back stitching it's referencing. So you have to like look at the color and then look at the pattern and be like, oh, I think it's that. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't run into any major problems so far, but you just, it's set up in a way that you have to stitch it according to the way that Martina would have stitched it in her brain, I think. So if you decide to do something different, you're kind of going to be thrown for a loop as far as the specialty instructions go. At least that's what I'm finding. Like I said, so far there hasn't been anything that's been a major problem, but because I do the stitching first, like in this section, this is all cross stitches, essentially. I don't think there's any specialty stitches in here. So doing this entire chunk of cross stitching and then trying to go back and find my place in the directions for the specialty stitches is really confusing, because I had to go back from the center and be like, okay, these are those eyelets, and then these are those eyelets, and then here are those road stitches, and here's that, and now I'm here. So I just wish there were like a picture of the center section, and it's like, here's all the stuff in the center section, and it just listed it. And then there was like, but instead of pictures you get, I really wish I had the picture of the full mandala to show you, but I don't. So instead of that, you get like, here's what you do in the diagonal cattail. Here's what you do in the horizontal cattail. Here's what you do in the horizontal swan. Like it's very wordy, and my brain isn't doing very well with it. Aside from that though, I've really enjoyed working on this. The counting hasn't been a humongous problem. I've loved using all of the specialty fibers. And I have to say, shoot, I meant to check this video. Someone left a comment on my last video, and I tried to search for your comment again yesterday and I couldn't find it. And I was gonna try again before I filmed this, but I'm filming it now and I forgot. I had mentioned that I was having a lot of trouble with the Gloriana silk, and that it was knotting when I tried to pull out my 2 strands. And you commented that you had seen on Mary Corbett's website that she advised that you just pull out 1 strand at a time, and it has worked amazingly. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Thank you so much for commenting that. But yeah, I've been pulling out 1 singular strand at a time, and I have not had 1 knot, 0 knots. So thank you, because that was a humongous headache for me. Yeah, I feel like I blathered on a lot about that. But I think that's all I have to say about it. I still really love it. One more thing. I mentioned this in my vlog, but I will mention it here too in case you don't want to watch like an hour of me talking. So I think just to prevent kind of the monotony of stitching all of this green stuff, I think I'm going to go, once this is done, I'm going to move over here and do the swans, and then I'm going to go back over here and do the leafy stuff. So I'm going to work counterclockwise, I think, around this thing, instead of doing like all the 4 green sections at once and just having that be really boring for me and for you. So that's my plan there. Let's put it away. That's Sparkling Swan. I think that is it for this month's WIP update. I talked about my Q-snap, and I asked you for help on that, and thank you to that commenter about the pulling out 1 strand at a time. I think that's all I wanted to say. So I hope you had a good stitching month. Happy stitching, and happy Halloween, which is coming up this week. I'm wearing my Maniac sweater, which I suppose is Halloween appropriate. So anyways, enjoy the rest of your October, and I will see you in the next one.